y'all. It's him, he, one half of the big podcast. Just about to talk about a couple things regarding relationships, and we'll get up out of here because it is Sunday. Now, if you see my last live stream, if that was entertaining, that's gonna be the only type of live stream I got for certain that type of content. Cause I'm gonna just keep it honest with y'all. I was feeling a certain type of way about something that didn't have nothing to do with the subject I was talking about, and I decided just to channel this energy, channel that energy into something else. I don't know what's going on. Can't see the live. If you can't hear me, you can't hear me. I got it on public. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, we back to the regularly scheduled program, and we here. Today, I'm just going to touch on three things. One regarding sound is no good. Okay, let me cut this off.
What about now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm doing a sound check. Text me if you can hear me, babe. Babe, can you hear me? Okay, here we go. So, we are back. We just going to talk about a couple topics and we're going to get up out of here. But the first topic I wanted to talk about is addressing the issue. And it's not necessarily a relationship topic. I'm so sorry if y'all can hear my daughter. I've tried to do the headphones, I tried to do something real quick, but it ain't working and it's already live. So that's what we doing. But it's about addressing the issues. Say you disrespect somebody. Say you make somebody feel a certain type of way, and you choose to, instead of addressing the issue, apologizing right when it happens or a couple days after it happens, after everything dies down, you either choose to keep your distance or to avoid them, and then you start getting this idea that they're holding on to a grudge because they're still upset with a problem that has not been addressed in the proper way. A lot of us, especially in the black community, we will do this. We'll go around saying, hey, such and such still mad about this, and it was such and such years ago. It was such and such. It was last week. It was a couple of months ago. Why you still on it? Well, if you don't say, for example, say I steal something from you, I'm gonna think, say, or yeah, say I steal something from you, and then you get it back, or you make me give it back, and then I act like it never happened. How do you know that I'm not a thief anymore? How do, like, I understand that we have this thing about not explaining ourselves and not trying to be vulnerable, in this thing in America that an admission, like saying sorry, is an admission of guilt. Whatever, bro. But when it comes to personal relationships, when it comes to somebody that you want to be around and that you want in your life, you have to be some sort of vulnerable. You have to address issues, or they're just going to be lingering problems. Like, bro, trying to be nice to somebody and trying not to talk about the issue that you guys have is not going to fix the problem, because they're not going to trust that that thing isn't going to happen again if you just act like it didn't happen, bro. I think there are a lot of things that go unhealed and a lot of traumas that go untouched because we act as if we don't owe people things. You'll hear that a lot. Oh, such and such don't owe you nothing. Such and such don't this and that and the third. You know what I'm saying? This is on you to do this. And it sounds good if you want to evade accountability and you cool with doing that. But you do owe people that you have a personal relationship, an explanation to why you treat them bad. You do owe people an apology if you want them to be in your life. You can't say somebody's holding a grudge just because you're not man or woman enough to address a situation that you created yourself. That's that's just 100% tomfoolery. And I understand in this culture of cowards that we have that some things can be looked at as maybe you're doing too much, but that's just because a lot of people are cool with not being true to themselves. A lot of people are cool with doing people a certain type of way because everybody does that. But if you really want to be in a person's life, a good person's life, a person who values themselves, you got to address the situation, bro. I don't really rock with dudes my age because, shout out to you, Joe Root, because that's a problem. And I'm the type of person, I'm a pretty straightforward person. And a lot of people these days, they will have like something will happen. They'll have a argument about the argument because one person didn't necessarily address the situation right there. Then they'll start acting a certain type of way towards that person because their feelings is hurt. I'm not doing all that. I'm not drawing out disagreements and all that. If you do something that I don't like, you say something I don't like, I'm addressing it right then and there. And then if you want to evade accountability, cool. We don't got to rock. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just not the type of person that you can treat me any type of way and I'm gonna just let you come around me just for the sake of wanting somebody to come around because that just opens up the door to being mistreated and accepting mistreatment and eventually a problem that could have just been addressed like adults being addressed like adults. I think that if you want people to be around, you want people to stay around, you got to treat people how you want to be treated. If you have issues with, just being kind, bro, you might want to work on these things. But I don't really like how it's normalized to not address issues and then try to put the onus on the person that feels away from being treated a certain type of way. That is so whack to me, bro. We got to grow up. And the reason that we have to grow up is because a lot of us is out here raising kids. And a lot of us, even though we don't want to say it, we see the effect of the lack of the accountability, a lack of moral direction that a lot of us did not grow up with, a lack of knowing not to just be annoying and understanding that the world doesn't revolve around you. We see the effects of this in society today. And me personally, my number one goal, not my number one goal, but one goal with it is raising my daughter is not to raise no woman out, no girl that think that the world revolves around her and people supposed to acquiesce to her feelings and she's supposed to it's a woman that's just so sensitive to everyone else's opinion and you are just gonna cast a certain type of aspersion on a man just because he ain't rocking with what you think is cool. And that's actually going to be the topic that I'm gonna get into, and I'll try to explain it a little bit better. But growing up, bro, you would hear, and you hear it a lot now because I think a lot of simps have been programmed to think this way, being raised by single mothers or being raised by a lot of women or a dude that is a simp. And when I say a simp, my definition of a simp is a guy who will do everything to acquiesce to a woman to try to get her where he wants her. It could be you agree with everything she says because you're trying to get with her in the bed. It could be you you acquiesce to the qualities she thinks a real man is to look a certain way. Simping can manifest in a couple different ways, but the simping that I'm talking about is when women say a real man won't do this, a real man won't do that, and specifically, a real man knows how to put up with an annoying, unruly, rambunctious woman. I don't agree with these things at all, and I'm going to explain to you why. Well, number one, we're adults. You're an adult. You should be able to accept constructive criticism. You should be able to function around people who don't necessarily think the same way as you without casting aspersions on them to try to silence them after you have labeled them a certain type of way just because they're not speaking what you're speaking. And it seems that in black culture specifically, a lot of simping is the root cause of the issue women have with their inflated egos and self worth. Having OnlyFans means a quick and easy escape from the actual hard work slash talent. I agree with that 100%. I'm good, and yeah, that just threw me off, but I'm good. Shout out to Joe. Yes, I agree with that 100%. I believe that a lot of dudes, being that it's just become so normalized to say whatever you need to get with a girl or get with a woman, say whatever you need to make sure that she's happy. And you, when you grow up in an environment where the mom's the head of the household, you kind of become programmed to believe that that's right. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that like women can get away with just because there's more women than men. Statistically, or not, I'm not going to say statistically speaking, but in some settings, women are more well off than men when it comes to black men. So their voice of reason is heard and acquiesced to a little bit more, even if it doesn't make any sense. And this is coming from a guy who's been in a relationship for 8. Simping is the root cause of all of this. Sadly, as the balance between male and female in life grows even further apart, these women will continue to get more unrealistic views and end up alone and childless. Yes, that's why I like to speak on these things, because I'll sit there and I'll hear women saying, "Oh, if your man doesn't, if there's a guy that doesn't want a woman who has an OF, he's immature, he's insecure, he's this, he's that, or maybe he just wants a woman that's gonna be committed to him and that won't just do anything just to get a quick buck, even if you do make money." And I'm talking about a lot of money, which most people on OF do not. Even if you do make a living off of that, what good man, what actual masculine man wants to deal with that energy? And you'll some people will say, "Oh, you're judging her and you're doing all of this emotional stuff." I'm looking at it from a logical standpoint, because first of all, if you do OF from the get-go, it's if you're thinking, "Hey, I'm 18 and I'm just going to do OF," there's probably some underlying issues that haven't been dealt with from the get-go that may need to be dealt with. There's probably some a lack of guidance and direction in terms of being a career choice and choosing what you want to do in life, that's your number one choice. You probably have been programmed by social media to the point that you think that's a viable option and the best option for someone at 18 years old to do. Looking at all of that, what real man really wants to get with that? Because people have to realize, bro, a real man isn't just gonna go for anything. A real man is not a yes man. A real man isn't a man that just does whatever you want. That is a simp. A lot of women, it sounds like to me, want a wife or they want a simp. But the thing is, when you get a simp, the you might be any dude that I view it as a deal with the devil. You're trading your self worth and integrity in exchange for quick money. No self respecting dude is going to love you later when you decide the whoring is over. I completely agree with that. Like, I understand having the mindset that you got to do what you got to do to make money, but the older you get, the more you see other people that are doing what they got to do to make money, you see that it's not really worth it in the end. Like, there was a time in life where I was being involved in things and doing things that I didn't need to do and that I shouldn't have been associated with because it could have turned out very bad for me. And The thing that happened with me was the first time I actually tried to do something illegal, like actually on my own and for a good reason, even though it was stupid because I could have just asked somebody for some gas money for my first week of work. I got caught. And when I got caught, I went to jail and I actually had a person in the cell with me that was he wasn't oh let me put this down. He had actually gotten in trouble for the same charge that I got in trouble for at a higher scale though, and he was actually coming back for a probation violation for some dirty pee. So he kind of put me down on game like, yo, this is what's going on. If you ain't got no record, you're not gonna get in trouble. You just got to keep your nose clean. So once that happened, and I actually ended up getting bailed out, because my brother lied to my dad about the reason I went to jail, so he bailed me out. But once that happened, I told myself like, you should probably take this chance of getting a proverbial slap on the wrist and not do these things anymore because most times most people when they do something stupid they end up like really getting in trouble for it. It's staying on their record, and thankfully bro, I was able to get that expunged from my record. So once I got in trouble, like I decided like, yo, I need to move back up to Pittsburgh. This actually like started this thought, and I didn't do it till a couple of years later, but this is what started the thought like, yo, I need to get away from this lifestyle because yeah, it's gonna get you money, like just like selling drugs. Like I know people that make money, and I actually don't know them because I moved away from being involved in that because I seen, oh wow, he's really making money. He got a little operation going on. But I seen when I seen that, I also seen exactly how the police could run up in there. I seen how me buying stuff from this person, and not like I was buying weed, but they was doing other stuff. Me buying stuff from this person and me not being a person that lives that lifestyle, how I could have quickly became a pawn in that game. You know what I'm saying? And being when you really are around people that live that lifestyle, you realize that the money is really the only benefit, and sometimes it's even not a benefit to it at all because because that it's really not a benefit to you at all because you usually have to, if you say you do it real big, you're usually going to have to spend that money to defend yourself. I mean, I'm sure there's people that make it out with some bread, but you've heard stories of people losing everything after they've been away. So you mess up relationships, you end up doing things that you wouldn't think you would do. Like I just don't see the benefit in it. And let me read that comment first, because I definitely done been off. I done went way off track. You're speaking the truth. Whether you've been to jail or not, you speaking the truth. Not many dudes around be calling these women on their BS. You sound like a man that thinks before he speaks. Yeah, I appreciate that. And that's why I like talking about relationships because it just be so much foolishness on the internet when it comes to it. And I ain't gonna lie to you. A lot of these women that spew this foolishness, I believe they already know in their head that I'm not gonna be able to get a good dude. So I'ma just, make from, maybe a shot in the dark, they might say, I'm gonna give these girls this bad game so they can have themselves messed up in the game so maybe I could get a good dude. Or it may just be straight up bitter, like I know I can't get a good dude. I know I don't meet these qualifications. So I'm gonna just say something to get the simps to maybe be emotionally charged to try to prove me wrong. And then the other women to try to like make they BS okay. But being in a relationship for 8 years, bro, none of the stuff that people say to do on the internet is what works. It's not beneficial if you have a child. It's not beneficial if you want to have longevity. Like, of course, bro, you want to have somebody, like you don't want to get with a man that's a bum, but making it seem like he's just supposed to wait on your every need and like you not supposed to do nothing, as if women don't have mad opportunities out here in 2024. It's just crazy to me. And then like the whole thing with like getting with a baddie, it's just wild. It's just wild because what type of lifestyle you think she living? It seemed like a lot of dudes they wish for a relationship to be a certain way, but they don't actually put the work in for it to be like that. Like you want to get with a woman that's bad, and you just expect her, like even though she low key giving you the signs that she really trying to get something out of you, you are just gonna keep doing things to appease her, doing things to impress her, instead of getting with a woman that'll actually appreciate the man that you are, not just what you have. And dudes will get mad at women. They'll start having like a hatred for women because the certain type of woman they choose or women they choose is not wife material. But you realize, like, bro, you looking for this stuff in the wrong places. I'm not really one to say, oh, get with an average chick, because I think my girl is beautiful. And I always say this, that thing is sitting, you know me, and she's a lady. You know what I'm saying? So I don't believe her to be average, but it's just a certain type of woman that I think you should choose if you want to settle down. And it just be like when people talk, I know I'm rambling a little bit, but it is what it is. It's Sunday. It just be like people speak on relationships from a perspective that we all are like entrepreneurs or rappers, and your girl's a stripper or she's a OF model or she's an Instagram model. And a lot of these perspectives are not realistic, bro. If you look at the statistics, if you look at the prices of things out there, bro, there's a lot of y'all that need to go 50-50. It's a lot of y'all that need help. You know what I'm saying? So, and bro, it's don't even make sense to get with somebody that can't bring nothing to the table in forms, like, unless you like established and you know what I'm saying, you got your own. If you both is coming from the ground up, you know what I'm saying? Because when me and my girl got together, we both was moving out of our parents' house. I had just moved up here and moved in with my dad just for a little bit because I had been on my own already since 18 and we was 22. But we both moved from our parents' house, and she had stayed with her mom up until that point. But we was coming together to be on our own. And it's like people will try to make a dude feel away if he not at a certain level, but y'all act like we've had good parents in the last 40 years of America. Y'all act like it's people out here, the majority of people out here are being really put on their feet, and when they step out their parents' household, that they actually ready to be in the workforce and actually do for themselves. People act like it's not a lot of people out here that's just figuring it out on their own. So my real biggest point, because I don't want to make this too long, is you need to get with a woman that's realistic to a certain perspective. And I'm not saying, because they're not men, you know what I'm saying? So they're not gonna just think logically the way a man does 100%. But you should get with a woman that has some sort of logic, has some sort of an idea on how to coexist with somebody, and that doesn't have a mindset that, oh, what I say goes, happy wife, happy life. Bruh, the older people went through that, and how many of them is actually together? How, and if they are together, how many of the men is just suffering in silence? So why would you? And the thing is, you somebody will hear me saying that, and you'll automatically go to, oh, he abused his girl, and oh, you know, your woman gotta shut up and she gotta be seen, not heard. Fam, it's not like that, bro. We people, of course, as a man, you're gonna treat your girl a certain type of way. You're gonna you're gonna be caring. You're gonna look out for her. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. But this whole idea that you're not a man if you don't endure some sort of abuse, if you just if you have something to say about being disrespected, it's stupid, bro. I believe. Let me get to my notes. There's nothing manly about accepting mistreatment. I believe, bro, if you have a girl and you can't, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again. If you with a woman and you can't address her with a situation and the problem can't be resolved and y'all can't talk about it, y'all don't need to be together because the the thing that's gonna happen is if you end up staying with this girl, you end up having a child with this girl, is that inability to communicate, that lack of accountability is going to be how your child is raised because naturally their child is going to be a little bit more connected to the mother as far as learning and just being around them all, a little bit more. So it's the thing is, bro, people will say, "Oh, well, that's just what you got to do if you want a baddie." Why do you want to build a long term relationship with a baddie? Someone that is known for using men for their money. It doesn't even add up. That's why it's so important that you have to look at certain qualities when it comes with a woman outside of the looks. So many dudes, they just like to assume, oh, you look like this, so you must act like this, or you must know that this is how you should act in relationships. I think a lot of dudes they don't do enough vetting as far as the type of person that they looking into, and I think it's a part of this simped out culture of just thinking that a woman's just supposed to be there sitting pretty and she ain't got no duties or no value to add to a relationship, and that just don't make sense, man. That don't make sense. But the way you, I think I touched all my points. I was a little bit all over the place, but we're gonna cool it. I'm gonna kick it with the family for a little bit for the rest of the night. I'm gonna try to get with y'all like twice a week. I'm gonna try to be a little bit more planned out because this live is a little all over the place the next time I hit y'all. But y'all have a good rest of y'all weekend. Like the video, subscribe, and go look at the other lives I've been doing.